When I got cut from Canada, I had $7 in my pocket. And I always tell that story. So now my production company is $7, advertising agency is $7, everything is $7. So I always remember that. What helps me is to keep the hard times in the front of my mind, because it allows me to go into these big moments that I've worked my ass off, and you guys have worked your ass off. It allows me to go into these big moments with a different perspective.
What's going on, everybody, today? My name is Caveman, and this is Caveman TV. Welcome to my channel. Oh, baby, why don't you just hit that subscription button if you like what you see, and smash the like button as well, too. We're going to bring you something cool today. We're going to bring you The Rock. Not the actual rock, and not a pebble. I'm talking a speech that he did, I believe was for the LA Lakers, and it's one of the motivational, eye-opening speeches or whatever that he does. And I just figured I wanted to do something a little bit different, nothing that's just like scary and oriented towards something like that in that nature, and something more uplifting, maybe like a good story, and just kind of give my thoughts and reaction to it as well too. So I'm gonna have the link there in the description down below. So I do appreciate you guys checking this out, and let's just jump right in, baby.
Is remember where you came from. Keep that shit in the front of your mind, and when shit goes bad and it goes sideways, a lot of shit does, you're getting booed out of the fucking building, or you're coming through this injury, or people are writing you off. Oh, you guys ain't gonna fucking make it. You know, any of that shit. You gotta keep it in here. And it really has to, it should drive you.
I gotta say, I should have worn my Rock shirt today, but I love The Rock. I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. The Rock is one of the main reasons why, like Rock and Stone Cold, that rivalry is my favorite rivalry of all time, and it's one of the main reasons why I even started watching in the first place. So I even got into that sort of level of entertainment and everything like that. So I'm endlessly entertained by him and the wrestling and the movies and everything like that, and it's just phenomenal. I think he has got to be overwhelmingly one of the most liked people in the whole world, but also in the same token and respect, he's got to be one of the most, you know, lovable guys for the reason that he's just a solid dude. Like, it just seems he's a genuine, you could tell he's just a genuine guy who just does his shit. He just does whatever the fuck he wants to do, but he's got a kind and gentle heart, and he really means it when he tries to help other people, and he really cares, and he's got that empathetic side, and it's very, very fucking important. He's one of those guys you need to have in this life to help inspire and motivate and create that level of determination, you know, where you can have the resilience in order to succeed and push through. I, for one, personally feed off from a lot of his information, a lot of what he says, and obviously very inspired by his acting and most certainly his wrestling capabilities and his mic skills and everything like that. He's just absolutely incredible. The true definition of a role model, in my opinion.
This idea and this notion that you could be anything you want and you can accomplish anything you want, right? We hear that. You've heard that from the time you were little boys. You hear that now. You're already incredibly accomplished. You can win an NBA championship, MVP of the league. You could become president. You could become governor. You could be in entertainment. You could do Charles, and you could do Shaq. You could do that. You could do whatever you want to do. You guys know that. The thing that has worked for me is to remember the hard times. So, and I'm sure you guys all have your processes. And again, I'm going to tell you what's worked for me. So before a big movie comes out, before, back in the days when I was wrestling with WWE, a WrestleMania match, anything big that would happen, I would always take a moment and I'd just remind myself, all right, I was evicted when I was 14. We were kicked off the island. We couldn't live in Hawaii. Had no place to live. A lot of shit happened. Then when I moved to Nashville, I was arrested multiple times by the time I was 16 years old. I gotta remember that. If I were playing on this team, which my skills are, what's that term? Oh, the shits. So I would never play. But before I lace up, before I get on the court, before I play in these big games, before I go to the Staples Center, where history is there, those are historic walls there at the Staples Center. I would remember that, and it allows me then to be present in the moment and understand, holy shit, the stuff I have around me right now, this is the shit that I dreamed of when I was a kid.
Present to the moment, that's a big one. I have another video on that, which is probably not the greatest, considering now I've improved quite a bit over the YouTube journey the last few months. But present to the moment, staying present in the moment is so key and important, because that's what keeps up your level of encouragement, and that's what keeps up your, most important, your level of confidence. When you get lost and trail off track, and you're not on point with your confidence in yourself or in oneself, then it takes the ultimate blow, and your tires blow out, and it's like you got no legs to stand on, kind of thing. So just so key, and it's just very breathtaking, emotional to hear him say what he's saying.
I am here. I played for University of Miami, played for great teams. Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis, they were my teammates. They were balling. Warren Sapp was playing tight end that time. I was starting defensive tackle. Yeah, they moved him over to D-line. And he looked at me, he's like, yo, dude, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, you ain't taking my fucking spot. He said, I'm gonna take your spot. I said, no, you ain't. We battled, and he took my spot. You can imagine how that fucked with me, because there goes my opportunity. He went in, switched to defensive tackle, lit the world on fire. Well, what that did, it crushed me, it crushed my dreams. I had a piss poor senior year, zero production, no NFL, no combine invite, nothing. Finally went to the CFL, Calgary Stampeders, making $250 a week Canadian. Now, I had to send that shit home to my wife at that time. Had no money. So I remember that. When I got cut from Canada, I had $7 in my pocket. And I always tell that story. So now my production company is $7, advertising agency is $7, everything is $7. So I always remember that. What helps me is to keep the hard times in the front of my mind, because it allows me to go into these big moments that I've worked my ass off, and you guys have worked your ass off. It allows me to go into these big moments with a different perspective. What it also does for me, and again, this is what works for me. Like, I keep my back, excuse my language, my back is up against this motherfucker. Every day, it's against this fucking wall. Excuse my language, ladies in the room. But it's up against this motherfucker because it's what I believe in. And when my back is against this motherfucker, then there's nowhere to go. But that way. That's it. So I feel like this could be something, an ideology and mindset that could help you, if you look at it that way. Because you made it already. We made it. We're successful boys, and we're lucky boys to be where we're at. Oh, you guys made it.
In order to make it, not sorry to cut it off here, but in order to make it, you also have to maintain it. Well, you can make it, but holding that spot and holding yourself to the task and the challenge of keeping yourself in the most confident spot where you can remain at the top of your game to your standards, that's what's important. That's the key. That's what's hard.
Nobody's rich in the room. Nobody's gonna get evicted anymore. Anything you got, there's no more money problems, right? You got a lot of hands out now. Hey, can I get a little bit? Can I get a little bit? Right, that happens. But when you make it, for me, I need this. I need this. So every day, my back is up against this motherfucker, and this is how I operate. Now, doesn't mean you don't smile, doesn't mean you don't laugh and joke, right? You're happy, I'm a happy guy. But when it comes to business, and when it comes to executing, it's up against this. And I gotta go that way. And I don't give a fuck who is in front of me. They're not gonna stop me. I feel like for me, it feels seamless because you prepared for so long, but it's just like you guys prepping for a game. That's the fun part. That's where it's like, fuck, it's fun, man. People are paying their hard-earned dollars to come see you. They're cheering, they're going bananas, they're booing the shit out of you or on the road. That's fun. That's what you live for. I mean, that's the juice right there. The prep is where the character's made. And I just don't mean the character I play, I mean the character in here. So for me, the prep is getting with the director, getting with the producers, getting with the writers, so in essence, it's like getting with all your coaches and your different position coaches and all the meetings that you have to have, right? So that's the work you put in. The key for me was, where does it start? What's the anchor? What's the anchor? So I could have all these ambitions and you guys have all these ambitions, which is great. It's important. I'll play this role, you'll play that role. I'll execute this thing and it'll come out this summer. You guys will execute this thing during the summer, right, when it's time to really put in a lot more work. But the key with me is just always finding what the anchor is. And the fucking anchor is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day before anybody else and grounding my thought process is in the no one will outwork me. No one. I love and I respect you guys. You motherfuckers won't outwork me. All starts with this. 2 hands, putting it to work. The anchor for me has always been the work in terms of the weight room training. So when I first started wrestling, I was 6 years old, rolling on the mats with my dad. My old man, a lot of you guys will know this. Yeah, Rocky Johnson. My old man was Rocky Johnson. He was the first black WWF at that time. First black WWE tag team champions with Tony Atlas back in 1983. My uncles were Wild Samoans. I come from a long line of pro wrestlers. But before the wrestling part happened, I was just in the gym putting in the work at 6 years old, rolling around on the mats. And finally, when I could touch weights at 13, that's what I was doing. But the weight part for me and the gym part has always been, has to be the anchor. Look, at the end of the day, like again, it's the kind of stuff that I talked about at top is I have to hold on to my dad in his pickup truck came down 4 o'clock in the morning, picked me up in Miami from Tampa. We lived in a little shitty apartment in Tampa. He drove down in his little pickup truck to Miami to get me when I was cut from the CFL. I was driving up I-75. I don't know if you guys are from Florida, any of you guys, if you know, it's I-75 is like, especially down in Florida, Alligator Alley. I'll never forget it. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, well, fuck. I leave home like you guys left home. I'm ready to tackle the world, to get after it, achieve my dreams and goals. Fucking crushed by 22, 23 years old. Now I gotta move back in with my mom and dad. I played on great teams though. Wait a second, this is not supposed to be my future. I'm supposed to be in the NFL right now. I'm supposed to be making a lot of coin and buying my parents shit, buying me shit, taking care of my wife. But
see, and this is one of the most important parts ever is that, you know, even some of the most successful people who, you know, whether they came from money or they didn't come from money, if they've had their back against the wall, been crushed, been all the way at rock bottom, no pun intended, it's just absolutely fucking amazing to see that story come to life. Because you see that story come to life, it's gonna fucking pump you up, man. It's gonna pump you up and inflate you like a fucking Spalding basketball in under 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It's gonna bring you up. It's gonna bring you up to that level. It all comes down to the mindset, you know, first and foremost, and of course the hard work, and not just working hard but working smart equally as important. So just keep on striving and pushing it through, but you got to know when to pivot. You got to know when to make your turns. You got to understand that, hey, you're not alone. There's other people in this that have been through similar adversity and different times that have crushed them. So just to keep looking forward and never give up.
It never happened. So I pulled out my wallet. I thought, well, let me see how much money I have. I opened it up. I had a 5, a 1, and change. I'm not fucking around, and well, at least I rounded up to $7. But I thought, God, ain't this a bitch? I got $7 in my pocket. Where the fuck do I go now? What do I do? I can't go back to CFL because you know, the point comes where you hear that voice, the big run's over. Like, you're done, right? So I heard that voice. So as Coach was saying, man, I hold on to that shit. I'm telling you, my back is up against this motherfucker. We laugh, we joke, we have a good time. Press is always fun to do. Sometimes you got to make it fun. That's another thing. You got to do your best to make press fun if you can. But my back is still up against this motherfucker. I do not forget it. What this also helps me do, and again, it works for me, is at some point, you got to be fucking tired of not being number one. You have to be, and you got to fucking play angry. And I play angry. Now, I'm cool and calm with my approach. And when I step out on my field, which is a set or, you know, like, there's some, and you're always gonna have haters, and haters are like, well, God damn, man, how many movies are you gonna make, or how much shit are you gonna do? Like, you do a lot of shit. I say, yes, it's my ambition. Of course, why not? I could do it. Yeah, I love what I do. And not only that, but in what world do we not work every day? It doesn't mean, it's just like you guys in the off season. You gotta work every fucking day. It doesn't end. My back is up against this thing, you know, and I started to play angry by the way, and I still play angry. My last match, Brock Lesnar, transitioned, and I realized if I had to be great at something, I wanted to be great in this world of Hollywood and movie making and producing and entertainment, I had to commit, and like you guys have to commit. Obviously, you commit to something, commit to the goal. So I quietly retired. 2 years later, I thought, what the fuck did I do with my career? Because my movies were not doing well. I was written off. I was like, it was around 2006, 2007. I was like, God damn. I left, I pulled a Jim Brown. I left when I was on top, like #1 in the wrestling business, and I left. It was a ballsy, gutsy, some call it stupid move, but I had to commit and I had to follow what was in my gut. And at that time, I'll share this with you guys, and Will Smith is my boy, and I sat down at that time with the agency I was with, and they said, what do you want to accomplish? I said, I want to accomplish the world. I want the world, and I want Will Smith's career, and I said, and I mean this respectfully because I know he's here at this agency with us, I want to do it bigger and better. And they looked at me like I had 3 fucking heads, and they were like, okay. But I still stayed focused, and I still had still put in the hard work with my 2 hands, and that's it. And that's what it comes down to with you guys. One of the keys is, remember where you came from, keep that shit in the front of your mind, and when shit goes bad and it goes sideways, a lot of shit does, you're getting booed out of the fucking building, or you're coming through this injury, or people are writing you off, oh, you guys ain't gonna fucking make it, any of that shit. You gotta keep it in here. And it really has to, it should drive you.
That's another thing I always love. He's just so open and honest and genuine, just so kind-spirited and genuine all at once. He's not fucking feeding you bullshit and telling you what you want to hear, but he knows how to drive that message home, and he knows how to make it apparent, and he knows how to make it worth your time to listen to him. Just look how he commands the tension of the room. You know what I mean? I understand he's a speaker, whatever, and he's got the name, and people are excited to see him and let him speak, but, dude, regardless, the guy commands the attention of the room, whether it's the fucking LA Lakers or just any average Joes just lurking around in the room. It's unparalleled to so many different other people, and I keep him in mind with being one of the best motivators around. So I would definitely recommend checking out any more of like The Rock's story and interviews and stuff too. I know he's got some segments that he did on Oprah's channel there. They're pretty compelling and pretty, letting the floodgates open a little bit kind of in that way. So this video here is brought to you by Alpha Leaders, The Rock's eye-opening speech. Link will be in the description down below. I really appreciate you guys watching this alongside me. And sorry I'm so somber and I didn't really try to react again. I'm just being genuine, and when I'm watching this and reading the message and listening to what he's saying, and it just hitting home, and sometimes you just gotta go with that. So I really appreciate you guys watching this video. So if you like what you see, hit that like button, and getting closer to 100 subs. So hit the subscribe as well too if you want to follow along. So I hope you guys stay real. I will most definitely see you in the next video, and I will stay caveman. Cheers. See you later, guys.